Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about this crazy hair. Not really, but what we are going to talk about is when I first bought this truck, I was hearing like a grinding sound basically whenever I would slow down to come to a stop and whenever I was like going from a stopping point. So I'd hear it pretty much back to back, but it was like as you were coming down you wouldn't hear it, but then when you were getting to like your final, I don't know, let's say maybe 15 miles per hour down to 0 and then 0 up to 15 miles per hour, I was hearing this like grinding sound. And it was coming from the front driver's side like tire area. And I would hit my brakes and like I would do different things to try to figure out what the hell was going on. And then I did a bunch of research and it turns out the solution to this is super simple and very cheap. So I wanted to make sure to make this video because if anyone is experiencing what I experienced, I'm going to be saving you a hell of a lot of time and a lot of money because this solution, super simple. If you're not experiencing it, but you have the valve that I'm about to show you, you're going to want to replace it. All right, so let's get going. All right, so pop your hood because what we're going to be talking about is right here and right here. And I'll show you guys what you need, kind of explain why it's making that noise, and then how you need to get this stuff bought and replaced. Okay, so if you are hearing that noise, it is coming from, this is a vacuum check valve. And if yours is black, just know that if it hasn't failed yet, it is going to. The blue ones are the valve that came out of the recall for the black one. So for those of you that have a 15 to 20 F-150, and also this application works for other vehicles by Ford in that same year range as well, but for now I'm just going to be talking about the F-150. This blue valve, when you buy it for 15 to 20, comes attached to this hosing, and I'll show you in the video. This hosing here, that cap right there, and then this cap that plugs into here for your vacuum housing. The other thing you're going to need is this piece right here, this whole black piece. Not any of this, not any of this second one, just this one right here. That is your vacuum solenoid valve. So for what your grinding noise is, down in there, Ford uses a vacuum system to pull your locking hub together. So if you guys are having this grinding noise, you need to check to make sure that your truck is not constantly working in four-wheel drive, because sometimes what's happening is because that vacuum isn't working, it's actually not pulling the hub away to get it out of four-wheel drive. So you'll actually be driving in four-wheel when you think that you are in too high. Whenever I installed this and got that fixed, I was able to, use the dial and test and go to 2 high, and it would stay in 2 high and go to 4 high and go to 4 low. Sometimes it'll have difficulty switching to 4 low as well, if you're having this issue. But I'm going to kind of go through in the video what the products look like on the Ford OEM parts website. And then I'll also show, if you're someone who has, I want to say it's like 2009 to 2014 year model, I'll show you what it looks like, because you're not going to have to buy all of this tubing and the valve that comes with the 15 to 20. You're only going to have to buy the blue valve, which is super cheap. It's anywhere from like $8 to $10. So for those of you who are not experiencing it yet and those replacing it, that black valve fails at around 50,000 miles. So Ford changed to the blue valve to be able to replace that as a recall. Okay, so those of us that have the 2015 to 2020 F-150, this is what the check valve for the IWE vacuum lines and valve looks like for us. So it already comes attached, so you'll pop that blue end off and put it into the tube that already exists, and then that other tubing will go into your solenoid check valve and to your vacuum box. So that is where that is located when Ford shows you the breakdown of their IWE vacuum hub locking system for going into four-wheel drive, 4 low, and back into 2 high. They use those vacuum lines, as you can see in that image, to pull it up against your axle and lock those hubs there. So this is what ours looks like. I ordered mine on Ford's OEM parts website and had it sent to my local dealer and just went and picked it up As you can see, it was pretty cheap for what the solution is. The people with 2009 to 2014, this is what yours will look like. You only have to replace the blue check valve. And then that other component is this, the solenoid for the vacuum. That's the solenoid valve. And you can see in the image here that that's where those two parts will come together to help run your IWE system, with Ford using the vacuuming for the hub locking. Here's a little bit of information on that. Also not very expensive. So great solution for not a whole lot of money, which is awesome. Okay guys, so it has been about 2.5 months since I threw those parts on my truck, and I have not had a single issue with that grinding sound. However, learn from my mistake. I bought the blue check valve with the tubing only the first time I went out and bought these parts and put it on, and I still heard the grinding sound every once in a while. But when I purchased that solenoid valve along with it, the grinding has stopped completely. So that's why in the video I suggest that you purchase both of those at the same time. I think it came out to like $63. It's kind of, the way that I was reading it, it's kind of like, if you go in and only get the tubing, you're basically only fixing half of the problem. But if you get the tubing and the solenoid valve, you're just replacing everything all at once, because they work better as a pair. So that's why in the video, my suggestion is to purchase both of those at the same time. You can get them on the Ford OEM website, have them sent to your local Ford dealer, and then just go pick them up all at once. Again, like, I think $63 is what it ultimately came out to. And that grinding is very concerning when you first hear it. You're like, great, what's wrong with my truck? But $63 and you solve your issue completely. I have not had a single problem since putting those parts in. So hopefully that helps you guys the way it helped me. Learn, like I said, learn from my mistake. Buy both of those parts at the same time and throw them on. It's not hard to put them on. You're literally just going to pop that black valve out, get rid of that tubing because you won't need the old tubing, and then just push the blue valve in to the new tubing, and then you'll see where those two extra hose caps will go on. And when you first pull one of those hose caps off, you're going to hear the pressure leave that vacuum box. That's just because you've opened the seal. But then once you plug everything back in and you start your truck up, let it run for a little bit, because it's going to fill that vacuum box up again and get your pressure going. But the solenoid itself, you'll literally pull it down and it slides right up into place, like clicks up into place. You don't have to really do anything crazy to remove it or install it. Both of them are basically plug and play, so very, very easy to swap those parts out. So if this helped you guys, give me a like. Go ahead and throw in the comments what your experience was with it, any feedback, if there's any videos that you want me to cover. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And then I'm just going to keep putting out this content. Anything that I learn that I can push out to other people with the truck, or just cool things that I put on it, if you guys want to see for making your decision of whether you want it or not, or you just like seeing content like that. I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm a couple videos in now. I think this will be the 4th, and I'm really enjoying it. I try to get back to you guys' comments as fast as possible. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and go off of you guys' feedback. And we are almost to Christmas. So Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody on here. I hope you get to spend some time with your family or friends. And we'll see you in the next video. Coming up, we're going to have tow mirrors. I'm taking off my stock Ford truck mirrors, and I'm going to be putting on tow mirrors, because eventually, probably next summer 2022, I'm going to be making a move to South Carolina, and I'm going to be taking a big enclosed trailer with me, so I'd like to be able to see all of that. So I'll be doing a unboxing, a install tutorial, and then just giving my review of how they think they look, and I'll kind of follow up later with how they've been since installing them, and we'll go from there.